Once again, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I welcome you all on this platform. In today's video lecture, we would be discussing about climate change and its impact on Pakistan. At the first, we would be discussing what is climate change. At the second, we would be discussing what are major causes of climate change. At the third, we would be discussing what are major consequences of the climate change. At the fourth, we would be highlighting major agreements, major treaties, major initiative by global community to tackle the climate change. And in the last, we would be discussing our major topic, that is climate change and its impact on the Pakistan. Climate change is like a global crisis like COVID-19. As COVID-19 has ravaged or destroyed the all countries of the world, same as climate change. But its impact is different. Like climate change, that is well said or well established that it was being originated in China, but it has impacted differently in different countries. Even though it is believed COVID-19 is being originated in China, but the destruction it has brought in India and America is somewhat different from the China. Same climate change is a global phenomena. It is being caused by the world, you can say the most powerful countries of the world, but its impact or its negative consequences are being you can say felt are being beared by those countries which are less very minute contributor to the climate change. You can say the biggest contributor in the climate change is China, and the second is America, but the worst affected countries are some other countries. Among those worst affected countries because of the climate change, Pakistan is among the top 10 countries. Even Pakistan's contribution to the climate change or global warming, you can say, are very negligible, equal to the none. But the impact, the negative consequences that climate change is going to have on Pakistan are very dangerous, very serious for present generation of Pakistan, for the future generation of Pakistan to come. So in this video, we would be discussing, highlighting climate change and impact on Pakistan. See, at the first, as I earlier said, I would be discussing about climate change. Climate change describe a change in the average conditions such as a temperature and rainfall. What is a climate change? Climate change is a condition when the temperature of the global earth and the different patterns of the rain are changing, and those are changing in negative, you can say, in the direction. The changing of temperature is rising. That is not an ideal for the earth, because whatever the Almighty Allah has been created in the very balanced approach, but because of the climate change and the climate change that has been caused by human beings, because of the human activities, because of the human harmful activities, our temperature of earth is changing, and changing in a sense it is increasing. When temperature of earth is increasing, multiple factors are happening, or you can say because of the change in temperature, certain other things are also changing. Change in pattern of the rainfall, change in the weather, change in the rain, change you can say more water, more floods. So because of the climate change, that is considered as an increase in the temperature and differences in the conditions of the rainfall. Or you can say a global warming. You can from the word you can understand from globe warming. Globe is considered the earth planet. It is getting warmer and warmer with each passing day. From the pre-recorded history, from the very earliest history, the temperature of earth is always recorded, and at the present time the results that were being presented by the scientific community of the world are very alarming and are very serious. If the global community do not join their hands to tackle this crisis, it would take very worse shape for the generations to come. Earth's surface is warming. As I said, climate change or global warming is a condition in which the surface of earth is getting warmer and warmer, and because of this, certain other negative things are also following. As Yes, because of the warming of earth, more water is coming, more glaciers are melting, and because of this flood situation is always there. Countries, or you can say those countries that are on the sea level, those countries that are on the banks of the water are being submerged in those areas. So because of the climate change, earth surface is warming, and many you can say warmest years are recorded that have happened in the past 20 years. In last 20 years, what has been recorded that has been considered as the warmest you can say time or warmest situation at the earth planet. The combined land and ocean temperature has increased on average 0.13 degree Fahrenheit. Earlier, before from 1880, what the temperature that was increasing on average, it was 0.13 degree Fahrenheit, or you can say 0.08 degrees Celsius per decade. Means per 10 years, the temperature of earth was increasing, you can say 0.08 Celsius degrees. However, in recent time, it has been you can say increasing rapidly because of the human activities, because of the burning of the fossil fuels, because of the industries, because of all the man-made activities. And now from 1981, the temperature that was earlier recording 0.08 Celsius, now it is 0.18 Celsius, or you can say 0.32 Fahrenheit has been increasing. You can say this is increasing in alarming rate, and this is not only going to affect only Pakistan. The climate change or global warming is a global problem and need a global attention. If not, then all would be affected. Some would be affected badly, and some others in some other forms. But it is due confirm all countries would be affected negatively by climate change. And for this, as I said, later I would be explaining in detail other agreements. But for this, I want to bring you a consideration. Paris Agreement was signed, and in Paris Agreement of 2015, when all the leaders of the world community came together in the Paris and signed an agreement to keep the climate change below 2 centigrade. They all countries agreed. Certain you can say pledges, certain promises were made. Promises in the form that they would be curbing the carbon emissions. Certain countries, the developed countries, the advanced countries with the highest economy would be paying dollars, as you can say money for the climate fund. And they agreed in Paris Climate Agreement that they will initiate, they will put all the efforts to keep the increased temperature of the global earth below 2 centigrade. It was being agreed. However, up till now in 2000, you can say 21, all those agreements are missing. All countries are short of the required amount that was being promised by those countries is also short of. Means overall the picture is bleak. If at present time, if action is not taken, the situation would be more worse in time to come. So in Paris Climate Agreement, it was agreed the global to keep the global temperature below 2 centigrades, or you can say 3.6 Fahrenheit. To pursue effort to limit increase to 1.5 centigrade, it was established, or it was put forward to keep the climate change at least 0.5 centigrade. That is acceptable. Scientific community of the world that is studying the different patterns of the climate change, they are of the view if the global warming is kept up to 1.5 centigrade, it is manageable. Its impact would be not those if the climate change increasing. So if the climate change of earth is going to be kept at 1.5 centigrade increased level, that was acceptable. But beyond this, if 1.5 is going to increase, the situation would be serious. And the problem is this: at the present rate, at the present time, countries are falling to complete their global, you can say, pledges to curb the climate change are missing, and we are going to surpass this 1.5 centigrade markup, and definitely because of this the huge crisis is we are facing, and its most you can say negative consequences are to come for our successor generation in this world. Climate change is caused because of human activity. There's nothing you can blame on other things. It is all because of the human activity of the global world. When the COVID-19 occurred and the countries were locked down, the people were at their home and the vehicles were not at the road, factories were shut down, the climate graph was improved, climate change or you guess global warming was decreasing. That was is required. Now again the restrictions are lifted, and once again we are moving in the same direction. So climate change is only is caused by human activities. I would be highlighting what are those human activities because of which climate change has been occurring or has been changing in fast direction. Human activity, increase use of fossil fuels. Even though scientific community or scientific intelligent community of the world have made a rapid progress, countries are moving towards the solar, wind or biomass, other forms of energy that are you can say carbon less technology. But even at the present time we are not fully shifted towards those technology. Even in the world, the largest commodity being traded is oil, and countries are making such plants of electricity run being on coal, or coal is being used in different sectors. Coal, oil and gas, these are those commodities that humans are using in large quantities, and because of such huge use of these quantities, huge carbon emissions are being created, and those later create kind of carbon emissions are being created. Those create a kind of global warming. So these are being used extensively. Unless and until we stop using these products like coal, gas, climate change is not going anywhere. It will remain in worst form in time to come. Even at the present time it is in bad form, but if we are not going to change our priorities, we are not going to change our technology, and if we are not going to transfer that technologies to the other countries, we are going to face this crisis always. Apart from apart from those commodities used, as I said, oil, gas and petroleum, the other thing that human beings are doing is a deforestation. Again, deforestation, because of deforestation, not only animals have lost their habitat, but again we are losing our own habitat. We humans don't understand, like in Brazil, Amazon, the world largest jungle is considered as the lungs of the planet Earth. And even because of the scientific establishment, scientific reports, the president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, is adamant to deforest much of the Amazon of the Brazil, and he is planning for the construction is to improve the economy. Even for the short term, he may improve the economy of his country, but at the larger interest, he is going to destroy his whole country, the whole world of the community. So that's why, and deforestation is not only in Brazil. Deforestation is all present in all the countries, even in Pakistan, even all the world. So jungles, the forest are the lungs of the different countries. They must be maintained. They must be increased. There must be a kind of a different campaign to plant trees. Like in Pakistan, under the Prime Minister Imran Khan, there was a billion tree tsunami project in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa when there was their government in KPK. Now when they are in also in center, they have launched 10 billion tree tsunami in Pakistan. And even last time they initiated a campaign that was 20 plants, 20 marks. Those students who would be planting 20 marks, they would be getting 20 extra marks. So it's a good sign that we should discourage deforestation and encourage forestation. The third is increasingly intensive agriculture. What we do in this, we for this agriculture, we are creating like greenhouse, like we are getting creating those. We are using those products that are creating carbon emissions, or we are creating those vegetables, fruits, or other things of which there's no weather. For those we create our artificial weather, and those create greenhouse effect, because for certain vegetable grow you need certain environment, and for this we humans we create certain artificial environment. And because of this again, and because of not only this, because of certain products for those agricultures to give good products, again we are heading towards the global warming. So these are the leading causes that are causing global warming at the global stage. As I said, use of the oil, gas, and petroleum, deforestation, and extensive agriculture. The direct consequences of the man-made climate change include, now as I said, after explaining climate change, causes of climate change, at this stage I would be discussing about direct consequences of man-made climate change, that include rising maximum temperature. Because of this our temperature is increasing, and because of increase in temperature glaciers are melting, and because of glaciers melting huge waters come, and because of huge water floods would be more common. More countries, more cities would be submerged, particularly those countries that are on the shores of the sea. Rising minimum temperature. Not only this, rising maximum temperature, it also causes minimum temperature. And some part of it there would be huge floods, and other parts of it there would be drought. Drought is a condition when there is no rainfall for a long period of time. So you can say irregular patterns because of the climate change. Rising sea level, as I say, because of increase in temperature there would be more glaciers melting. Because of more glacier melting, more water, rising sea level. If sea level is rising, like Karachi is on the sea. If the water of the sea would be increasing, the places, the city, the homes that are near to the shores, there would be submerged. Higher ocean temperature. Because of this ocean temperature would be increasing, and below this there is a you can say a white belt or ecosystem that is being destroyed because of also this. So not only the land life would be disturbed, the ocean life would be also disturbed because of the climate change. An increase in a heavy precipitation means there would be heavy rainfall, more water, more precipitation, more rainfall, and it would be inconstant with the patterns that has been created by Almighty Allah. Certain patterns has been created by God, and God has created all things in balance, but because of human activities all is going in negative. Shrinking glaciers, as I earlier said, huge temperature, more glaciers, and other thing is indirect consequence of climate change would directly affect human environment, include increase in hunger. Earlier, what certain consequences of mesh were the direct, and some are indirect. Because of certain other actions, other things would happen. There would be hunger in the globe because of the irregular pattern. There would be irregular weather, irregular water, irregular you can say irregular weather patterns, and because of this there would be less production of the food. There would be food crisis because the earth won't be suitable for the growth. There won't be enough water for countries to grow. As at the present time Pakistan is facing water crisis, even is aligned to the climate change, and because of that there would be less water, there would be less plantation. When there would be less plantation, there would be less crop. When there would be less crop, there would be food crisis. When there would be food crisis, there would be hunger. Water crisis, even you see earlier when people were digging the water at the very below level, they were getting the water. Now they have to dig deep to get the water, because the water levels have also been reduced because of the climate change. Health risk would be created, as I said, because of the climate change. Certain waterborne diseases are being created, certain airborne diseases are being created. So there's no doubt, because of the climate change there will be health crisis, and even with the present time we are facing health crisis. Heat waves, because of many times heat wave people are being died in Karachi last year. Even in any heat wave season, many people die because of the extreme heat weathers. Economic implications, as I said, there would be crisis, there would be crisis, because countries need to shift on the other technologies, and because of this we are facing a huge economic crisis, and this will also increase pests and pathogens because of climate change, because of use of certain medicines in fertilizer. We are facing the climate pests and pathogens. Loss of biodiversity due to limited adaptability and adaptability speed of flora and fauna. Definitely there would be crisis of the climate change that are going to decrease our flora and fauna. Flora and fauna are considered as animal and plants, and because of this climate change is going to impact all these things. All the animals and all the plants are being impacted negatively. Certain acids are also being contributed or added in our rain. Those are causing, you can say, acid rain in our country. The need for adaptation in all areas: agriculture, forestry, energy and infrastructure. Pakistan has to, because of the climate change, countries have to adopt in new way to their agriculture, to their forest, to the energy, to the infrastructure, because they have to change the patterns of life they are living on them. They have to change for the better life. Climate change, for the tackling of the climate change, for tackling of the climate change, certain international agreements have been signed, or you can certain initiative have been taken. The first one was the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. If you are writing an answer, you need to have know-how of these agreements in highlighting your answer. So first initiative was that United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. The second was Kyoto Protocols of, and third was Paris Agreement. So we would be highlighting those in later. Pakistan received much less rainfall in January 2021, and because of the climate change, as I said, there's a change in the pattern in the weather patterns of the Pakistan. So in 2021, Pakistan received less rainfall. If you are receiving less rainfall, there would be water shortages, and because of water shortages, there would be other problems as well. And that was considered as the 17th driest month in 60th years. 60th years. You can say in the last 60 years, that was the 70th driest month that we observed. Climate change is evident that weather patterns. So if those people or those countries who are not certain that there is a problem of climate change, they can observe it from the weather patterns. The globe, the surface is getting warmer faster and faster, and climate change is evident from the weather patterns. Water availability, agriculture and climate impact on livelihoods are million. Because of climate change in Pakistan, water availability is decreasing. Because of climate change, global warming, water availability is decreasing. The major cities of the Pakistan are facing water crisis. Among them, the best example is Karachi. Karachi needs of water supplies are huge, but they get small water. Agriculture, our agriculture do not get the enough required water they should get, and because of the climate change and global warming, it is going in a negative trend. Climate change is going to impact the livelihoods of millions of people, as in Balochistan, many people are losing their jobs because of the climate change. Pakistan is already on the list of the top 10 nations most affected by climate change, and there is no doubt, as I earlier said, Pakistan is the very least contributor to the climate change as compared to China and America, but is top among the top nations that are being negatively affected by climate change. And because of this climate change, Pakistan is facing devastating floods in some regions and drought in other regions. And the problem is that we understand there's a problem, but we lack action. Creating climate ministry or launching a kind of launching a climate ministry, a plantation tree campaign are a good initiative, but not enough. We need to bring drastic policy to take this challenge, and this will create our country's food and water security problem. These are the things that we cannot deny for a long period of time. You cannot live without food, you cannot live without water. Without this you will die. And not only this, the climate change is also creating displacement because of the harsh weather, shortages of rainfall, shortages of food, shortages of livelihood, shortages of jobs. People are moving from one place to another, and moving this would create a urbanization problem, and because of those there would be crime and some other problems. Some regions like Balochistan, where tens of thousands of farmers have lost their livelihood. As I said, frequent drought conditions will increase our poverty and hunger. And as I said, there's no serious effort from government part at domestic level, and even at global level. Even last time when there was a Donald Trump, America's president, he withdrew America from Paris Climate Agreement. Biden came and he once again engaged and re-entered in Paris Climate Agreement. Though the initiative was good, but again not enough. So global community need to join this, because this crisis, climate change crisis, is a global crisis and need a global effort to tackle this. And we need to invest heavily in our industrial, in our agriculture, in our energy related initiative. Make those areas like environment friendly, not environment hostile. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much.